Within a form of media, the main character is typically one of always the most marketable characters of the series. As always, you will see merchandise of the main character, whether that be on anime figures, on the light novel art, on the series promotional art. However, it is safe to say that ReZero is an exception to this. Today, I will be talking about one of the biggest mysteries in ReZero, and it's not actually about the series, but rather about where is Natsuki Subaru. There is not a single, and I mean a single piece of merchandise of Natsuki Subaru within all of the ReZero marketing. So yeah, that's what today's video is going to be about, the missing case of Natsuki Subaru and where does his character lie outside of the anime. If you like ReZero content and all that type of stuff, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and let's just get right into the video. Also, don't mind the hair, not greasy, I swear I just showered. Subaru's lack of merchandise is always something that I found a bit weird, if I'm being completely honest, because Subaru as a main character is somebody who is one of the most popular characters within all of ReZero, at least within the West. I tried to do some digging and see his popularity within Japan, but again, from everything that I found, Subaru was a relatively popular character. He is somebody who many fans out there find extremely relatable and someone who is quite funny and has a pretty interesting design. I mean, on the fandom aspect, Subaru gets constant fan art and is probably the character within the series, besides Rem, obviously, because we just know she's leagues and ahead above everybody else in terms of popularity within the fandom, whether that be the West or the East, by Japan, that gets the most amount of fan art, as we could see here. This fan art of Subaru is some of the most popular to come out of ReZero, and actually ends up being what people think is the light novel art because of how popular it is. Furthermore, we know that the issue isn't ReZero's popularity itself, as there is a clear and utter merch discrepancy between characters. I mean, starting from the very top, you have Rem, who has had about every and any single type of figure you could possibly make of her. And then you'll get other characters, like Ram and Amelia, who have also had a substantial amount of figures made of them, which all sell extremely well. A kind of funny and interesting fact is that the only Subaru figure out there besides this extremely overpriced Nendroid is him riding on Patrice, but with Rem. Something else that I want to tie into the fact, and maybe potentially the reasoning why we see such little Subaru merchandise, is Subaru's presence within the light novel covers of the series itself. All the way up until the current point of Arc 9 of ReZero, we have yet to see Subaru on a light novel illustration, and obviously this is intentional by Tappei. This intention, I think, could lie within a multitude of reasoning. One, he likes putting the girls up there probably for marketing purposes of the series, because as we know, clearly with all the figures of all the anime girls, that is probably what is going to catch this fandom's eyes, but I also think there lies deeper intention behind that, and I think it's because Tappei likes highlighting these side characters within his story, and likes putting Subaru to the side. Going into Subaru's character within ReZero, it is quite fitting that he is not on any of the main covers, because Tappei tries to illustrate him as an ordinary normal guy. Why would he put the ordinary normal guy on the covers of the series that takes place in a fantasy fanatical world? I think it just kind of ties into that and how Subaru kind of is pulling the strings from the back. Highlighting Subaru as a forefront would go a bit against his character and would be a bit strange. So yeah, I've heard this theory before by I think Chibi Reviews, but Subaru is probably going to be on the final light novel volume of ReZero if I had to guess. So yeah, 42 volumes in, that is definitely intentional at this point. One more thing I wanted to mention though is a fun fact is that Subaru has actually appeared on one of the light novel covers. However, this is within China and it's because of the censorship they had regarding Shala. So they had to take a random picture from one of the Arc 6 light novels in which Subaru is involved and put him on it. So I want to use this Subaru talking point and turn it into a bigger discussion regarding ReZero as a whole, that being ReZero's marketing in general. I saw a pretty interesting post from a couple of days ago where it was like the anime and the marketing. And the anime section was talking about some of the most unique and interesting looking horror aspects of ReZero regarding death. And then the marketing was just, all the anime girls and stuff like that. And I just want to say how the ReZero marketing is absolutely atrocious and gives people an utterly horrendous, appreciation and understanding of the series for those who haven't watched it. Which on one hand is kind of interesting because it does give people a false perception when they go into the series and, it sets the bar pretty low for them to be like, oh shoot, this is actually really good and has some really interesting elements. But at the same time, it also turns people away from the series and makes it so that people will never actually watch it and assume it is just Gooner bait. But at the same time, if they were actually able to capitalize and market some of the most interesting moments within ReZero, I think it would be much more popular and one of the most popular series out there. And I think this all starts with actually putting an emphasis upon Subaru within the merchandise. I can go into a whole discussion how, outside of this, like the actual anime merch sucks, but that's a discussion for all anime in general. There is no such thing as good anime merch. But yeah, despite all this, is there anything coming? Will there be any news? Is any Natsuki Subaru merch coming? And to the answer to that, it is actually yes. There is actually hope. Not all hope is lost for Subaru merchandise, because in fall of this year, supposedly, don't take my word on this, but a trusted leaker regarding Funko Pops stated that there will be a Natsuki Subaru Funko Pop that will be released alongside a Ram, and Amelia one. Finally, after years of having literally nothing besides this hideous Nendroid figure right here, that thing is so ugly. What's it called? We will get the bare minimum in a Funko Pop. But, something is better than nothing, I suppose. But yeah, what do you guys think about all this? What do you think is the reasoning behind, Subaru having such little marketing? If I had to go into it and put it to a pinpoint, I think it would be just the role he plays in the story, the divisive character he is. His design is pretty basic in a world of fantasy characters, and for the most biggest reason of all, it would just be that ReZero has horrible marketing and is honestly marketed as gooner bait a lot of the time when the series is not that at all. So hopefully as we progress to later arcs such as arc 6 and 7, didn't mean to say that there, we will have more Subaru focused, marketing and more Subaru focused ideas, in which ReZero could be marketed more so as a horror and a fantasy with a very twisted element, rather than, just like I said, gooner bait. But yeah, I think this issue is just a small point and what I consider a bigger issue within the anime industry in general. That being that a lot of the stuff really is just gooner bait, and whether you say that's because anime fans or because, the marketing team behind it has the perception that that is what all anime fans are, is up to you. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, hopefully we get to see more of the ReZero male characters outside of Subaru too. Some other great characters too, like Al. Al would be such a cool figure to have, actually amazing. Al, Garfield, Reinhard, Otto, Julius, all those guys too. But yeah, anyways, that about does it for the video today. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and peace.